When I first started podcasting, I had to beg people to be a guest on the show. I wanted to interview entrepreneurs, but I myself was not a true entrepreneur yet. So I didn't really know people in that space. I didn't have any influence at all. And as I was reaching out, I realized, finding people to be guests is actually tough work when you don't have any credibility in the space. I happen to have 3 friends who are entrepreneurs. So I invited all 3 on, and guess what? They said yes. After those 3, I asked all 3 of those same people again, and they said yes again. And then the third time, I asked them, and they said, man, Alex, you need to find some new friends. So it's time to widen the bench, right? And so what I want to talk about today is 6 steps for landing ideal podcast guests for your show. Hi, my name is Alex Sanfilippo, and if I've not met you before, I'm excited to share this with you today. I'm going to go through these 6 things pretty quick, but before I do that, I want to kind of set the foundation here again. You can probably find people saying, yes, I want to be on your podcast, or reaching out to you like crazy, right? But how often are they really the right people? That's why I use the word ideal guest for your podcast, right? So this is how you can actually pitch a podcast guest that you want to have on your show, or how you can invite someone to be a guest on your podcast, right? So it's about the invitation, not just all the requests that we get when we have a business podcast and it's a dentist wanted to be on it, right? A sleep expert wanted to come on your fitness show, which maybe that one works, right? But you get my drift, right? Like you hear from a lot of people, but it's very rarely the right people. And you've got this list in your mind of who makes a great guest or who will be that future great guest. And that's what I want to talk about here. The first thing I want to mention is that if it's somebody with a lot of influence, or they have a lot of attention around their name, or maybe a lot of buzz because they released a book, or they have a new course out, or there's some sort of coach that just hit it really big, right? Like if there's somebody like that, before you even pitch, before you reach out inviting them on the podcast, ask this question. Hey, are you interested in being a guest on podcast right now? And you want to add something to that. You want to say, hey, are you interested in being a podcast guest right now? If you are, I'd love to send you a more formal invitation for your consideration. And use your own words, of course, but you want to keep it really short. Just saying, hey, before I even ask you to be a guest on my podcast, are you even open to being a guest on a show? And if so, I want to send you a formal request. So don't consider this my main thing, right? That's what you want them to understand. Not just, hey, are you being a guest? Because they might be like, no, get lost, right? Like be more serious than that. But also, you don't want to spend all this time doing what I'm going to share in a second if you don't know if somebody is even interested right now in being on shows. So if you're reaching out to the person directly, ask them. If it's their team, you want to just say, hey team, I'm interested in having the talent they represent on my podcast, but I'm just wondering, before I even put together a formal pitch for you, is that even something that they're interested in right now? You just want to ask, right? Get the buy-in before you start doing this, because you will burn yourself out writing pitches only to find out people are like, sorry, not doing any podcasts this year. And you're like, oh, I spent an hour doing that. I spent 30 minutes doing that. And it's not even a thing yet, right? So you want to make sure that you get that opt-in first. Are they even interested in being on shows right now? Now, something I'm going to mention here, and this is my own product, my own service. I'm not here to sell it, so I'm going to mention it very briefly. But if you use a tool like PodMatch.com, which is a service that connects podcasts, guests, and hosts for interviews, if you're on any sort of service like that or any sort of directory, and there's guests on there, you don't have to do this opt-in piece. Because if they're already there, you already know. They're telling you by default, and everybody, I want to be on podcasts because I have put my profile in a space saying, please invite me on a podcast, right? So you got to think about where you're reaching out. If you're reaching out on LinkedIn or Facebook or any social platform or directly through email, you don't know that they've opted in saying, yes, I want to be on podcast. If it's a tool like PodMatch, you know you can skip that part because they're already saying, hey, please reach out. I'm here. I want to be on podcast, all right? The last thing I'll mention here is please don't chase celebrities. Listen, I know that a lot of people who have celebrity podcasts. You are going to be hitting your head against the wall. You might get one here and there, but I'm telling you, it's not what it's cracked up to be. So I encourage you, don't chase celebrities. You want real people with real influence that can actually serve your listeners. That's what it's all about. So when you're reaching out, keep all these things in mind, right? So I'm going to go through my 6-step framework for reaching out to people to have them on your podcast as a guest. Number 1, don't use AI. If I didn't lose you with the celebrity comment, you might have just left now. Don't use AI. Here's the thing, AI has made us pretty lazy. I spend much less time and put in much less effort than I ever have when I pitch to have someone on my podcast as a guest. And people are always like, Alex, how on earth did you get so-and-so on your show? Like, how is that even possible? I sent them 10 different things and never heard back. Here's why. They used AI. I didn't. It is a shortcut that does not work. And I'm telling you, people that hear from more than 1 or 2 hosts about being a guest on a podcast, right, getting the invitation, if they've heard from 2 or 3 people, at least 2 of those are AI. And they've already learned now that guest knows, oh, the host doesn't even know who I am. They didn't even bother reading like anything. They just asked AI to send a pitch to me to have them on their show. They know that. So if you are the only person responding as a human, you're going to win every time. And that's my secret. I just gave up the secret sauce. If you don't use AI, you're going to win. Listen, I know, you're probably great at prompting. You feel like no one can tell that it's even AI anymore because it's your voice and it's perfect. I'm not trying to be rude or mean. It's not. I promise it's not good. My human answer versus your perfect AI response, my human response always wins. That is step number 1. Don't use AI, okay? If I didn't lose you and you're still here, you're going to love the rest of these. They get easier. Number 2 is keep it short. Keep it short. People don't want a long explanation as to why they need to be on your podcast and how proud of you, proud of them you are, right? Like, you don't need all this. Keep it really short. If you're brief, you're going to get the opportunity for someone to actually read all of it. Versus it's long, they're just going to skim it and be like, I don't know. No, I don't have time for that, because that's what everybody says, right? So if you don't use AI and you keep it really short, you're going to get that attention that you need. So these next 4 points are going to be how to actually make sure that what you're capitalizing on, which is that attention, is going to win for you and ultimately get them on your show. Number 1 is to lead with value. Number 3 is to lead with value. So 1, don't use AI. 2, keep it short. Number 3 is to lead with value. What I mean by lead with value is don't start off saying, hey, I've got a podcast. I'm looking for guests. I want to make sure that I'm doing this. And I think you'd be a good guest. It's too much you involved in there, right? The word I is not what you want to be using. What you want to say is, hey, Alex, congratulations on your success in podcasting. I've been following along for a while. Done. That's good. That's it, right? And if it's somebody with a bit more like authority or clout or recognition in today's world than someone like me, you might say, hey, congratulations on your success with your latest book. I left it a 5-star rating and review on Amazon. I attached a copy of that here. Whoa. That right there, that just got that person's attention, because guess what? No one else did that, right? And even me saying it, you're like, that's crazy. That's going to take too long. I'm telling you, if you want to get noticed, you got to do something to stand out by leading with value. If you're the person that said, hey, loved your book, left a 5-star rating review, here it is. Now, again, keep it short, because AI will say, here's the 3 things I liked about it. And you're such a good writer. I especially like the way you write, blah, 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 blah. You don't need to tell them who they are, right? Very short. Hey, great book. I left a 5-star rating review. I attached it here. Now you have this person's attention, right? They're like, oh, whoa, okay. That's what I've been after. I've been asking everyone to leave me a 5-star rating review, and you did it, right? Like, thank you for that. So now you can move on to the next step. So number 4 is to make a meaningful request. Meaningful request. Don't just say, I'd love to have you on my podcast. That's what most hosts do. I'd love for you to be on my show. Will you please be on my podcast? Come on my podcast. They've heard it from everybody, right? A meaningful request means you attach something to it. Hey, chapter 3 of your book really talked about how you went from management to leadership. And I have a leadership-based podcast, and I think that you diving into that point would be huge for my listeners. Would you be willing to be a guest to talk about this point? Whoa, that is meaningful, right? Like, that's not just saying, come on your podcast. That's like, whoa, like you gave me something tangible we're going to talk about. I'm like, oh man, chapter 3 is my favorite chapter to write. Yes, I want to do that, right? You may already get the yes right there. So make a meaningful request, not just asking, be on my show, because that's not meaningful. That's just a request. Make it meaningful. Number 5 is to offer credibility. If you know anyone that they know, like maybe someone who wrote an acknowledgement of the book or did the forward, or maybe someone that you both follow on social media, any way you can find some sort of common ground, you want to mention it. That's very, very important. I once had a guest on, and I'll leave everybody nameless here. This was like my closest to celebrity guest, and I typically avoid that stuff, like I said, but I knew I wanted them on the show, but I knew I could get them because one of their close personal friends came on my podcast and shared some really cool stuff with me. So I reached out. The credibility I offered was like, hey, our mutual friend Mike and I, we talked about how he has like the best old-fashioned recipe, and he talked about how you actually agree with that. I thought that was kind of funny. That's all. I didn't say anything about I didn't say anything about like, oh, and by the way, he said I did a good job with the podcast. Nothing like that. The highest form of credibility is not your credentials, not how big your show is, not your reach, not your demographic. None of those things is the highest form of credibility. The single highest form of credibility is who they know that you know. Your common ground. And if you're like, well, Alex, I have nothing in common with them. You know what? Maybe you all like the same movies or books. Can you find any of that from social media? Any common ground is going to be the highest form of credibility that you can have. Did you share a stage together, like at different times? Speak at the same conference, right? Like anything you can find is that highest form of credibility. Do your best to leave the credentials of your show out of it. You can link to your show. And again, like if you're using something like PodMatch or have some sort of online website for your podcast or anything like that where people can see a snapshot of it, link to it. I do think that that's really wise to do. So make sure in your credibility, you're linking out to where they can learn more if they want to, but the credibility you want is who they know that you know, or what you both have in common that you enjoy and like. Offering credibility is key because that's going to make them say, oh, well, that's association. Let's do this, right? Okay, and the 6th and final point here is make it easy to say no. This is like the opposite of what most salespeople would tell you to do, right? You want to make it easy to say no. I always end the same way. Hey, no pressure either way. I only want you to be a guest if it's really going to be beneficial to you. I do know it'd be beneficial to my audience, but again, I don't want to waste your time if you've got another focus. But at the end of the day, I would just really love to hear back from you. Hope you're doing well, and thank you for considering. That was a little long-winded because I spoke it, right? I would condense that down if I wrote it out. But what I'm saying is just make it easy to say no, because what you want is to open a dialogue with them. You want to start a conversation, not just be a one-way message that you never hear back from. People don't like to let people down usually. And so a lot of people just won't respond. They'll act like they didn't see it. But if you say, hey, no worries either way, I just love to hear back from you. You might hear them say, hey, listen, it's not going to be a good fit for me. And what I've learned is no usually doesn't mean no. It usually just means not right now. And the thing is, if you start building that relationship in 6 months down the road, who knows? Maybe they say, you know what? You brought up chapter 3 of my book and no one else has been asking me about that. I'd actually love to come on your show now. Maybe you'll get that opportunity. So build the bridge. Don't burn it immediately, right? Making it easy to say no to you, to let you down, saying I won't be a guest, that opens that open line of communication. It gets a response, and you can keep that going time and time again. The last thing I want to share here before I close out here is that as a host, you need to remember this key thing, and please really listen in on this. You own the platform. You own the platform. You are the podcast host. They are the guest. Imagine an invitation to your house, your home. It's the same thing. You're the one whose house it is, right? Like you've got everything prepped. The people who walk through the door, they are your guest. They are the people that you invited. Remember, have the confidence that this is yours. Like this podcast is mine. I'm inviting you to it. Now, you don't want to use that to rule it over them. That's not how you treat a house guest, right? But what you want to remember is that every single interaction matters. They're looking to you as the host, the facilitator. When someone comes to your home, they're looking to you. Do you want me to take off my shoes? Are we eating? Like, what can I do to help, right? They're showing up in that way. But the way that you kind of set the tone, that you set the energy, matters from a hospitality standpoint. Remember, you are facilitating the way that the entire process is going to go from the very beginning. It starts with this initial message, this initial pitch, this email that you send out, however you're contacting them. This is the very first thing. And that is setting that pace of how you are going to be from a hospitality standpoint, the way that you're going to facilitate them. Start off on the right foot so that when you invite them into your home, remembering, hey, it's a big opportunity for me to have them in my home, but I want to make sure I treat them really well. And I think they're going to have the respect knowing what they're walking into. So make sure you do all these things right. Never forget who you are. There's a lot of power in being a podcast host these days. I'd say it's one of the most powerful mediums there is. So just remember, you're setting that tone all the way through this entire process. The relationships you build, it all begins with this first message you send. So again, I'm going to go through these 6 things. These are 6 steps for landing ideal guests for your podcast. Number 1, don't use AI. Number 2, keep it short. Number 3, lead with value. Number 4, make a meaningful request. Number 5, offer credibility. And lastly, number 6, make it easy to say no. If you do these things right and you really come up with a great way to reach out, I can promise you're going to get some great guests for your podcast. Again, my name is Alex Sanfilippo, and I hope this was super helpful for you today.